All right.
You're all good to go. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll call to order this August 23rd, 2022 meeting of Lawrence County Board of Commissioners. Will all please rise for the pledge of allegiance. And you sneaking on the side. You're doing the pledge now.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And all please remain standing for a brief moment of silence. Thank you. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Steelvogel?
Here.
Commissioner Vogler?
Here.
Commissioner Boyd?
Here. Row officer reports and comments. I'm looking out of the audience today. I'm not seeing any row officers or representatives thereof. Public comments. Is there anybody here who wishes to make public comment? Seeing none. Fiscal and contractual. We have no repository properties, no advertising. Well, we do have some advertising for bids proposals, but we'll get to that later. Receipt of bids and proposals. I don't believe we have any. And then we have warrant registers from August 18th, 17th, and 15th. Again, my colleagues will check those over and take a motion to accept and file the warrant register or not, but I have no idea what the hell that does if we don't do it.
I will make that motion.
I'll second that. I do have a very quick question. And if no one here can answer it, I'll stop down at the controller's office. On the document dated August 15th, on page 1, about partway down, check number 201453, it says Lawrence County District. I'm assuming that should say District Attorney, but I'm not sure. Do you folks assume it might be that?
I saw that and assumed the same thing to him.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it gets cut off.
Yeah, and like you notice, public defender is just says
Right.
public DE. I think you're right. I think
Yes.
I'll walk down after the meeting, but no, I'll gladly second the motion.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next, we have the minutes from August 16th. Again, I'll give my colleagues a minute to check those over and take a motion. Quick one, so you can take a motion to accept and file the minutes. I guess approve the minutes. CYF season. MHDS season.
So moved.
I'll second Loretta's motion.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Question on motion. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Staff reports. We have a member of staff here. Does anything to report that's not already on the agenda? Looking around, we have none. Commissioner reports and comments. Dan, you're on deck.
Thank you, Commissioner Boyd. Mine will be very brief, but I do want to note, sadly, the passing recently of two different former local elected officials. More recently, just within the last few days, David McConaughey, who was a township supervisor up in Wilmington Township, passed away. And then a couple weeks ago, this gentleman served in public office quite a few years ago because he was in his late 90s when he passed. Jim Saletti, who was a council member down in New Beaver Borough. And I knew Jim, actually knew both these gentlemen, but Jim was a fine person and did live a good long life. But I do want to forward our sympathy to the families of both these folks. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Loretta, you're on deck.
Just very briefly, I had the opportunity to attend the closing ceremonies of the moving wall, the Vietnam Veterans Moving Wall in Elwood City. And I'm glad that I went down because it was moving, certainly to say the least. I tried to think of a more fitting word for it, but it was very moving, very humbling to see the wall, the replica, and just the amount of work that went into it. I just want to say thank you to all those involved because there were so many that took care of that for the couple of days that it was there. So thank you. Elwood City, and those volunteers that did that.
Thank you. Only thing I'll note today is I've been in contact with the state treasurer's office, Treasurer Garrity's office. I don't think I mentioned this last week, but Lawrence County had some unclaimed property. The treasurer's office maintains a registry of unclaimed property. I actually had some myself. I just got it was $102. I got the check today. But yeah, you should. But Lawrence County had about $20,000. It was, I think, either just shy or just north of $20,000 in unclaimed property. And so we're working with the treasurer's office right now to process that, get back into county coffers. But I just wanted to say I appreciate Treasurer Garrity's staff. I appreciate Treasurer Garrity yourself for texting back and forth with me.
Yes.
Try to help get our county taxpayers a little bit more money in their coffers. I just wanted to note that. New resolutions. Again, we're going to try to get through these relatively expeditiously. Scott, looks like we have 3 from MHDS. If you want to approach the bench. And Vanessa, what numbers these would be?
Start with 238.
238. How you doing today, Scott?
I'm doing well. Morning, Commissioner.
Morning.
Morning.
What do we have going on?
Okay, this first one is the 3 contracts. 2 are new, one's a renewal. This first one is a renewal contract between Lawrence County MHDS and Life Steps out of Butler. Contract will run from July 1st, 2022 to June 30th, 2023. This is an early intervention contract, so there's no budget. Services are paid by the state at the end of the year, and they do screenings at several daycare centers, screening children for any kind of disease.
Okay.
Second one is a new contract between Lawrence County MHDS and La Casa Personal Care Home. The contract will run from July 1st, 2022 to June 30th, 2023. Contract will not exceed $75,000 and is paid through Human Services Block Grant funding. La Casa is a personal care home in Newcastle that serves 3 of our mental health members and personal care services. Okay, the last one is a new contract between Lawrence County MHDS and Mercy Life out of Pittsburgh. Contract will run from July 1st, 2022 to June 30th, 2023. Contract will not exceed $75,000 and is paid through Human Services Block Grant funding. Mercy Life is a LTSR, a long-term structured residential program. They serve 1 of our individuals from Lawrence County in this for more of our more challenging cases. So, again, no cost to the county for those services.
Questions, comments for Director Baldwin?
No.
I'll take a motion. Unless there's any objection, we'll do them all together. 238 through 240. I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Second. The motion is second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Scott, as
Thanks,
always.
Scott.
Keep up
Take
the good work.
Thank you.
241. We do this every year. It's a maintenance agreement for the filing system over at Domestics. They have that massive electronic filing system that we got to keep all the gears
Yes.
moving on that. There are already a lot of gears. So I told Tracy last year, I think I said, you don't need to walk across the street for this one. I figure we'll just handle it. So we'll do unless there's any questions, comments on that.
Yeah.
I'll take a motion for 241.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second for discussion, hearing none, question on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Up next, we have Director McKinney with Planning and Community Development for 3 resolutions. 2 of these we do again every year.
Yes.
And then 1 is for our Facade program partnership with Elwood City Borough. Elwood City Borough.
Oh, this is just giving a resolution stating that the county is applying for a DCD Keystone Communities Program Facade grant. It'll be focused in Elwood City along Lawrence Avenue with some businesses of 4th, 5th, 6th. Their central business district is where we're looking at doing the facade program. We're asking DCD for $50,000. We also have letters of commitment for a match of 25 from the county and 25 from Elwood City. So a maximum of $100,000 hopefully. Each business owner would be eligible for up to $5,000, but they also have to provide a dollar match. So the application's ready to go. Once you guys sign off on that, I'll upload it and hit submit.
So we're taking $25,000 from the county and turning it into a $200,000 impact is effectively what we're doing. Elwood City Borough doing the same thing, just based on how everything works out.
It took me a minute to the 200,000, but yeah, not from the business. I'm like,
I know, I did too,
$100,000,
yeah,
yeah.
you're right.
It's the same.
Um,
And we're happy to do that, yes.
No, Elwood City's been phenomenal over the last year.
Yes.
They've made a lot of progress in terms of revitalizing their business district. And the county, I think, is certainly happy to support their efforts and aid in their efforts to bring
Absolutely.
Lawrence Avenue and Fifth Avenue back.
Yes.
So, is there any more questions, comments for Amy on this one? I will take a motion on 242.
So moved.
Second. Good motion, second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. If you just want to go over fair and section 504 together. And
Yeah,
we'll-
Yeah, it's
about
just a
this.
requirement for CDDG, we have to have a fair housing officer designated, each year, and a section 504 officer. So I am the fair housing officer, and Rebecca is the section 504 officer, and that's a requirement of HUD. So the resolutions you're passing today are just designating us as those officers.
Questions, comments? I'll take a motion on 243 and 244.
So moved.
Second. Motion is second. Any further discussion here? None, question on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you as always. CYS, we have one today. We have one.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Mike.
And don't give us 20 next week. No.
This is a renewal for the Bear Foundation. They currently house about 34 in foster care. They're probably one of the biggest part of the foster care providers that we use. On the second sheet, you could see what they were asking and what John negotiated,
Mhm.
and then what this program.
Questions, comments for Mike?
No.
Hearing none, I'll take a motion for 245.
So moved.
Second. The motion is second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next up.
Yep.
Up next, we have 246. We've reported on this, and Loretta's been more on top of it than I have. But Lawrence County is receiving, as are all counties in the Commonwealth, a sum of money from the opioid settlement with, I believe, was it Pfizer?
J&J and some of the distributors
Thank
so far. Mhm.
And I think there's more coming.
Yes,
Uh,
yes.
And so we're receiving, what is it? Is it 6.5?
6.8 million
Just do it.
over 18 years. And what we have now is there's certain things that we need to do, just the paperwork to get the money coming in. So since that money is coming in, and we've had previous meetings about how to spend the money, because at the beginning and I think I said at the last meeting, we were told that the bulk of the money would come in the first 2 years. We're thinking that it's going to be several $1 million over the first couple of years. That, of course, has changed. There's different amounts that'll be coming in. We'll get the first 2 years in 2 installments, hopefully starting one the end of August and then one early in the fall. But that total amount is going to be around $750,000. So because it's so fluid, we thought that the best thing to do, all things considered, was to just create an advisory board that would assist the commissioner, since we do have the final say on how monies get spent, that maybe to create an advisory board so that those people that were at the table before still have a voice at the table, but realize and know that the funds are not coming in as we first thought. So we do have to do a lot more thinking, a lot more planning, and be a lot more controlled with the money that we're spending to get with the Elwood project, the biggest bang for our buck that we possibly can. So that's where I was this.
Absolutely. I'll note the way that this is structured, at least in the resolution. District Attorney's Office has a representative, Office of the Commissioners has a representative. Joe is on it. We have Judge Motto from the courts, John Bout from CYS, Scott Baldwin from mental health, and Rebecca Abramson from drug and alcohol. So we have it encompassing all of our different human services agencies, as well as representatives from the criminal justice system and representatives from effectively finance office. I'll also note with this that this group meetings will be open to the public. Any member of the public who wants to come and make comments or give input into how we should draw those funds down is certainly more than welcome to do so. And then, of course, every funding request or instance where we might want to fund a project first must go before the advisory committee. The advisory committee will issue an opinion to us. We reserve the right as the Board of Commissioners, rights and privileges to the final determination of settlement disbursements. But we certainly want to receive input from our human services agencies as well as the criminal justice system. We think that's important to appropriately and effectively drawing this funding down and making a difference and an impact in Lawrence County in terms of solving or getting closer to solving the opioid crisis.
Absolutely.
Any other comments?
Yes, Loretta, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Attorney General has created his own statewide advisory committee, and it's based on regions from throughout the state. And our region is being represented by one of our colleagues in Butler County, Butler County Commissioner Kevin Boozle. And Kevin will bring a lot to the table. So,
Absolutely. The way it's a trust that has been set up, and it's the advisory committee for the trust.
Right.
Because the way that the settlement came about, it's not going through the legislative process. It's going directly to the trust. And the trust, as an advisory committee, will help us out on what types of spending we can, what we can't do, what we should or shouldn't do. So having somebody like Commissioner Boozle as close at hand as Butler to be on that committee is certainly a plus. Yes.
without question, and all three of us enjoy a good working relationship with him, but you particularly do, and I think that's going to be helpful to us as well. Thank you.
Yes. Sure.
Absolutely. I'll take a motion for 246.
So moved.
Second.
The motion is second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. 247, this is just a CDDG change order down again in Elwood City. They were working on a paving contract on 8th Street and Beachway Street. It's an improvement project. There have been there was a $470 charge in excess of what we'd originally allocated for the project. Again, this is
It's actually a
A decrease.
even better.
I don't know how you missed that.
Yeah, that's a first for me. All right, well, what the hell, call the vote. We'll take a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Often we see a change order I've never seen in my life a change order for a decrease. All right, now we get to the RFP portion of the circus. 248. This is advertising. It was already advertised. There was a little communication snafu with our engineer, but we're putting out an advertisement and accepting bids for seal coating of a few of our parking lots up on top. They're deteriorating pretty rapidly, and it's just time to get that done as we get the courtyard done and work to make sure that our capital plan is resilient. So any questions, comments on the ceiling project? We're expecting probably total cost of around 18 to 24,000 here. I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Second.
A motion is second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. The next one, and I'll call the ward or whoever wants to speak on these. We have a chiller project, a roof fan project, a ductwork project, and a security electronic system upgrade project. We're taking these all out for bid at the Lawrence County Correctional Facility. Warden, what do we have going on? We'll start with the chiller.
It's a chiller that needs replaced. It's currently not
Warden, if
operational.
you'd be able to come up.
Yeah. Currently a chiller that's not replaceable. It completely needs replaced. It's not repairable, should I say. It's something that's putting strain on the other chiller that I have. I've got two different chillers, so.
And that's for our food, right?
No, the chiller's for the air conditioning.
There we go. And we're only working with one right now, which means if that one were to go down,
Yes,
we'd have some issues over there,
yes.
probably from both staff and inmates.
Mhm. Yes.
All right, any questions on the chiller?
I just had a flashback, and you'll probably get this. A few people might. Chiller Theater. Remember Chiller Theater on Channel 11? That
Yes.
predates some of the
Yeah,
people.
oh,
in the room.
yes.
Chili
Oh,
Billy
yes.
Cardilly. Right?
I was
Anyway.
beat me to it because I was going
Were
to
you
say
thinking
it.
the same thing?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Roof fan. What's going on with the roof fan?
We currently have 32 roof fans that are on the roof of the jail. They're not, a large percentage of those do not work. as far as ventilation.
Yeah, the problem was, I don't think there's just a lack of maintenance and other issues of just a lot of the pulleys and the bearings just froze up. It's just not worth trying to repair them. So that's our big problem with ventilation in the building. So there actually is 30 buildings getting replaced.
And how many are there total?
32.
So in other words, 31 of 32 aren't working. We'll get that fixed.
Yes.
Any questions on roof fans? And then we have ductwork. Is that basically the same thing?
Well, the ductwork is in the inside of the building, all the internal. It's never been cleaned. So we cleaned all the vents last year for inspection when we had state inspection. So just looking through the ductwork, what we could see is it's pretty bad. It definitely needs cleaned, it's disinfected.
Absolutely. Any questions on ductwork?
No.
And then we have the security electronic system upgrade, the cameras. What do we have going on there?
The camera system is entirely needed for an upgrade.
Let's just say many of the workable parts at the corrections facility are on life support. Is that the easiest way to say that? Okay.
And I don't think
And out of date.
And we're taking the funding, the capital stack to fund this project is coming out of our increase in revenues from housing inmates from other counties.
with the camera system, the other three projects. I don't know.
Well, I think, is chiller coming out of ARPA? I think the chiller wasn't. Was the chiller?
I think it is because it's part of the air control systems,
Okay.
anything air
I didn't know whether or not I
pertaining to, yeah,
There was
air
three
purifications,
projects
yeah.
previously approved, upward, and then the chiller.
So I don't know, I remember two of those were at least
Right.
approved through ARPA. I just didn't know if we got the chiller formally approved.
I'm sorry, the advertising for these projects is all set to go out on August 29th, go out for bids. And then we've got pre-bid meetings set up, and we'll also have the, basically the pre-bid meeting set up. And then we will have the sealed bids. Commissioners. Controller laws, gets them back.
Sounds good. Any questions or comments on any of this?
Just excellent work. It's been rough and tough, and I appreciate everything that everyone has put into this. Because we do know that you guys if you're saying that it's not repairable, it's not repairable. I know what you've done to keep things moving and working there. So I'm just glad that we're able to move forward with it and get these things done. So thank you. Yes, thank you.
Kevin has been a godsend.
Yeah.
Lawrence County Jail, his knowledge, his expertise, everything he does over there is just unbelievable.
I think we should also note that these matters have all been discussed by the prison board. We can't
Correct.
lose sight of the fact that it's a 7-member board. State law requires that there be a 7-member board that oversees the operations of the prison. It's the 3 commissioners, the district attorney, the president judge, the county controller, and the county sheriff. But these matters have all been discussed at public meetings of the prison board, and the recommendations have been made since the
Yes.
commissioners handle bidding process and contracts that will ultimately come about as a result of this, which is why it's here today. But again, I for the record, I think it should be made clear that all 7 members of the prison board did have input on this. Thank you.
Yes.
Take them all together, motion to approve 249 through 252.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, any further discussion, hearing none, question on the motion, Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. Dr. Ross. Up next, we have a lot of budget amendments. I went through the budget the other day. We're at 63% of the through the year, but I consider just for planning purposes, 66% of the year through. Checked out all the different accounts that come out of general. We go into the general fund and come out of the general fund. And so this is areas of underperformance and areas of overperformance. We're just adjusting the budget for the real numbers that we're seeing come in. So any questions on any of the transfers?
Appreciate your efforts.
Absolutely correct.
The only other thing I'll note with this is that in doing all of this, we're looking right now at about $75,000 surplus for the year. And I'll note that our budget, our general fund budget's about 40 million, our total budget's about 100 million. And so that $75,000 we're squeaking by. With that, I'll note
You know, I
that.
wanted to spend that,
I
and
know
then
you
you
did.
said, but.
I know you did. With that, it's gonna be critical that we hold the line on operational spending in order to get through this year. And again, next year's budget's not gonna be very fun. But right now, we're at least on track to end the year budget neutral. So this is gonna be 253. Any questions,
Okay.
comments? I'll take a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. 254. What we're doing here is we are increasing the transfer amount from DEA TFO. We got some reimbursement money for one of the drug busts that we do in conjunction with the federal government. That is being used to fund overtime for the DEA detectives. That's kind of what we do there. We use for federal forfeiture money to fund overtime costs to allow us to go out and catch bad guys. So what we're doing here is just amending the budget to allow us to make that transfer and fund overtime out of the DA's office. Questions on that? 254, I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. 255, we are transferring commissioners. Judge Russo Electric, $2,500 to fund the electric costs. There are no move-ins next week, which thank God that's finally put to bed. But we have some increase in the cost of electric as everybody's
Right.
experiencing right now as costs increase. So any questions on the electric?
No.
Take a motion on 255.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. $20,000 DJ Russo land and building rent. That gets us through the end of the year as it relates to the office of Rick. Any questions on that? I'll take a motion to approve 256.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. What do we have here? This one's already numbered. We got 257. We're moving a chunk of money from our ARPA contingency into the general fund, as per ARPA regulations, part of that $10 million that we're taking as that standard deduction.
Okay.
So, any questions on that? Hearing none, I'll take a motion for 257.
So moved.
Second.
A motion is second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Couple administrative transfers, $200 in DJ Moody subscriptions and books to maintenance and repairs, to fund some maintenance and repairs at the office. $350 from Commissioner contingency to maintenance and repair, gets our copier payment for the month of December covered. And then for Thonotary, $5,000 from their contingency, their land building rental, that relates to the storage of the mines. I don't know, I don't think you guys were on the email right now, I'm thinking about it, but Tammy reached out. They're gonna go,
Yes.
yeah, they're gonna go through those boxes, see if we can eliminate some of the costs down at the mines. We're paying about, let's say, $85,000 to $100,000 a year right now
Yes,
in costs related to storage. Some of that stuff we're required to have.
right,
Deeds have to be kept
Yes.
forever. Murder files have to be kept forever,
right.
et cetera. But there's a lot of stuff down there that we don't even know what it is. So we're gonna go find out and try to get those costs down. I'll take a motion for A through C unless there's any questions.
So moved.
Second, a motion is second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We'll hold that resolution for another week. And we have no ordinances on the table for introduction or final action. Announcements. Next commissioners meeting will be on Tuesday, August 30th, next week, 2022 at 10 a.m. in the commissioners meeting room. Courthouse will be closed Monday, September 5th, 2022 in observance of Labor Day. And then we have obviously the number of RFPs that we issued. We have an RFP out for our parking lot seal coating project, for our chiller project, for our roof fan project, for our ductwork project, and for our security electronic system upgrade project. I'll also note we currently have one out. I don't know if they were collected yet, but for our broadband consultant.
No.
That sums that up. Any public comments?
Morgan, I believe they're doing the 29th, the broadband. They'll be
29th?
opened at the 30th meeting next week.
Gotcha. Mrs. Lamb.
Miss.
Ms. Lamb, I apologize.
Amy Lamb. I live at 2002 Delaware Avenue, Newcastle. I just wanted to come make a couple comments. I'm sorry, I was late.
No, you're fine.
One of them was, first of all, I read in the paper where 29 more businesses will be able to get some money to help them. I think that's wonderful. And I was out at Quaker Falls, and whoever fell out there, they can't read because I know, I mean, those signs were everywhere. And I love the water. I'm trying to go down there, so I don't think that's any of your fault. They were very well lit signs. And the other thing is, I always appreciate coming here. You're all you're very courteous to us. You might laugh when we leave, but not like Newcastle City Council. And then the other thing, there's two things I wanted to ask. I know that you give people lots of aid. I have a dear friend who, her front steps are horrible. And I take her communion and I can't do it in the wintertime. They're so bad. And she keeps saying she's applied somewhere for aid and doesn't get it. Where should I tell her to apply?
Right now, the housing rehabilitation program of the county, what municipality does she live in?
She lives in Newcastle.
See, we don't run
Right.
Newcastle's home program. We run it for every other municipality. But Newcastle runs, the program is called HOME. It's a housing rehabilitation program. It's run through, the dollars flow from the Department of Housing and Urban Development to the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development, which then disperses the money throughout the municipality, throughout the Commonwealth.
Mm-hmm.
The County of Lawrence, we handle housing rehabilitation projects for all municipalities in the County of Lawrence, with the exception of the City of Newcastle.
Okay.
The City of Newcastle runs their own home program,
Right.
and so I would refer her to either the mayor's office or Sean Anderson down in the city for more information.
Yeah, okay, thank you. I worry about her.
Let me add to that, please. You might have been to some of our meetings where Dick Craig attends.
Mhm.
And Dick is affiliated with the Eastbrook Mission
Right.
Barn out in
Mhm.
Hickory Township. They have a program that I think primarily builds ramps.
Right.
Right.
But I would still suggest looking into that. It's possible they may be able to work on her steps.
Because I know Dick and I know that
Okay,
program.
or he may
which is
even
very
refer
good.
you to, and I know there's several church organizations that do different things, so
Mhm.
he may be able to give you a name of somebody else.
Okay, I just
Go
want to
to,
help
sure,
her and myself,
absolutely.
I'm afraid sometimes.
Oh, absolutely.
And then I have two things, and I don't take this bad or anything, but as we people I'm showing my ignorance. When I come here and people come up there to speak, you just say, hey, Rick, Dick, Tom, whatever, come up and speak, and I have no idea who they are. So that might be, let us know who they are,
Sure.
just their name.
Absolutely.
Not that I
Thank
catch
you.
them all the time, but
Sure.
and then I have one more comment. I don't know who did this law. I had to change my name on my deed. When I bought my house 45 years ago, I used my married name. I changed my name back to Lamb 30 years ago here in this courthouse. And when I went to change the name on my deed, I couldn't do it. I had to pay an attorney over $200. Who came up with that?
Not us.
You beat me to it.
It
Not
just
us,
seemed
Maya. Very
ridiculous to me
understood,
to have
yes.
to do that.
And since it's a legal document that you're changing,
Yeah.
you do have to have an attorney.
And that
Yes.
attorney didn't know me from Adam. You know, I
Right.
just wondered. I tried, you know,
Yes.
but I just wondered. And so I think that's all. I didn't need to make any derogatory statements.
Oh, no
or
problem.
anything.
And you
Just
did
help
fine.
us sometimes to let us know who that is.
Absolutely.
Warden, I knew who he was, but no, I didn't know their name. So again, I appreciate all that you do for Lawrence County, and thank you for letting me attend. Have a great day.
Well, thank you for coming.
Thank you
Always
so
good to see you.
much. Absolutely. We appreciate every comment.
Yeah.
We
Well,
most
some-
definitely.
Some more than others.
Well, yes. We most definitely appreciate the kinder comments that we get.
At least you don't laugh at me like city council.
Never, never. Thank you much.
Thank you.
Any additional public comments? Or any additional business to be brought before the board by the board? Seeing none. Vanessa, good?
Good.
Joe, you good? Absolutely. All right, we'll wrap this up and adjourn. Lawrence County Board of Commissioners is adjourned.
Boy,
Yeah, let me.
That wasn't bad idea,
I like
for
your,
all of that.
I like your, those flamingos.
Yes,
Flamingo.
I like that.
Thank you.
Makes me think of Ed Allison.
Amy, yeah, that's right.
Makes me think of what?
Ed Allison.